So hello everyone, this is Pekka talking here. This is a weekly meeting with Ivar and we agreed to demonstrate the practice Workbench project that we undertaken with Arthur. Arthur is here. Say Arthur hi.
Hi.
Alright, good. And Arthur now will walk through the ideas that have been floated around, and we decided that a simple paper prototype will be sufficient now for the base of discussion. So Arthur, you can share the idea that you have been having.
So the idea is to make a web application, since that will make it more easily accessible for all potential users and hopefully speed up the number of users, of course. So this is kind of meant to be the screen when you enter a blank new method to make. So here we have the different drawing elements, which are colors for endeavor, solution, and system. No, endeavor, solution, and customers. I mean, and the different SEMAT element icons. And then there's just a couple of other stuff down here related to removing elements, moving the view around in case you want to shuffle it around. Selection, which will be very useful for drawing the relations between different elements, and then just this cut and pasting, since you can then move several elements at once, which will be a significant advantage in terms of flexibility of making different graphs compared with paper, since then you have to erase them and move one at a time and all that. And here's just the kind of operations that might be necessary to make the system smoother in use, like all drawing programs and office programs like undo and redo and stuff like that. So the idea is that you select an element and then you will have it as your cursor kind of, and then you can paste it around, and that will of course. So if you select the activity and click somewhere, then we will get an activity element onto the graph, and then we will have some kind of name given to it, and this will also generate a practice card, so that you could click on that, and then you will enter a display for the practice card where you could set the title, perhaps which other elements or practices it relates to specifically. There will also be some automated process based on the different relationships, and a description and potentially a link to external resources describing the practice. In the software engineering essentialized book, there's this 3-step rocket mentioned for essentializing a method, which is first make a graph of it, and then make a deck of practice cards, and then finally make an onboarding manual or other resource like that, which is a gradual step of refinement and formalization.
Do you have an example of a practice card?
Yeah, I have an example of a practice card.
Amazing.
This one for a time box. So that's from this extremely simple method here, and then we have the time box alpha. So of course there will be an alpha symbol somewhere, and we can see that it relates to the product backlog, which is given through being one step away in terms of relations, and also the increment. And then we have a description, and in this case, no outbound link.
So here's the basically the drawing element. What are the other features that you have been thinking about?
The other features, yeah. So the idea is that since it will be more easy to share and grow a kind of SEMAT ecosystem, the more users we have, it should be easy to share the different methods. So if you have the link, you should be able to go in and fiddle around. Where you should also be able to easily make copies of methods, so you can make variants. Seems a good idea.
Have you thought about the link to the IJI practice library?
Well, that will be possible through the outbound links. That will be possible through the outbound links, since the practice library has a number of different practice cards already The idea will also be to make a set of different practice cards available in the program, so that if you do make a new timebox alpha, then you should probably not get an empty timebox card, but instead a copy of the standard timebox card, which you can then customize as relevant for your own method.
What do you plan to do in the next couple of weeks?
Get this working in terms of a web application. I have much of the backend and database stuff set up at the moment, so getting the drawing system going and displaying the graphs. A fun comment regarding the three-step process is that this will mostly focus on the graph and the practice cards and tie those into each other, since they have a one-to-one relationship. And the onboarding manuals, etc., will then be implemented through the outbound links. So it will be available in terms of easily navigating there in the system, but we are not bothering with making the manual onboarding manuals a direct part of the web app either. And compared with doing this on paper or similar, then we will have a pretty smooth movement between the graph drawing and the practice deck and the potential onboarding manual, which should allow users to operate on several different layers of abstraction at pretty much the same time, which is an interesting analog with how programming requires you to operate on several different layers of abstraction and at one time.
And I think that we can make this when you get the next version out. Maybe we can even think of trialing in the course that we are running now.
Yeah, potentially.
So they could actually elaborate the way they work.
Yep.
By teaching the small notation, they should be able to actually do it on by themselves.
Yeah, and in the SEMAT resources, there's also mention of different levels of details in using SEMAT. So it should be pretty simple to get a basic version of SEMAT running, I think.
All right, so Ivar and others, this was our update on the open source practice Workbench project, presented to you by Arthur Evensen from Finland now. Cheers everybody, see you in 2 weeks, bye bye.